All right, so I got a question the other day, and somebody asked me, Bolo, why don't you work with a lot of major artists? And that's actually a very good question, and I'm going to answer that question for you guys today.
Bolo!
All right, before we get started, of course, make sure you guys go ahead and click on the affiliates in the video description. Check out zounds.com. They have a whole bunch of stuff on the site, and they have a whole bunch of stuff on the site that you guys can get with no credit or background check, meaning you can just order it and they will ship it to you, and you can just make monthly payments. All you just need is a credit or debit card hooked to the account. And make sure you guys go ahead and check out Analog Cases. They have cases for just about everything that you guys would need in your studio. Make sure you go ahead and check out those links in the video description. They're dope, and they support the channel when you shop by clicking those links in the description. Now, I'm at my studio near downtown Atlanta, and I came here to actually clean up because I wasn't here for the past couple of days. And before I actually do anything, you got to go ahead and scroll and go through IG, TikTok, and all that stuff like that. And in my IG DMs, somebody actually hit me with the question why I don't work with a whole bunch of like signed artists. And to be truthfully honest with you guys, the reason why I don't work with a lot of signed artists is because I never actually really worked with signed artists like that my whole career. Just never happened like that. I've always been the type of producer that's always worked with people who were not signed, people who were on the come up, and I just got in the studio with them, and then just so happened every couple years I end up having like a breakthrough record with artists like that. My biggest record, of course, Silento, Watch Me Whip, Watch Me Nay Nay. That song is a diamond record. Like, it sold 10 million singles. And to be honest with you guys, I don't know how that stuff works, why over the years I've been blessed in that situation, but not just from that, but from other situations like dealing with the Taylor Girls. Their song went super viral in 2017. Then I had another song with a kid named Darwin. His song 2 times platinum. And then before that, I worked with a kid named Two Pistols. He did a song with T-Pain called She Got It. That song went super crazy back in the day. Then I worked with an artist named Dobie, rest in peace, worked with him. And then I've had other artists along the way that I've worked with and I've actually developed, and they actually ended up getting situations. Some of the situations were bigger than others, and some of the situations didn't go through at all, but that's the journey that I took, and that's the way I've made my living off of music, by just working with new talent. And to be honest with you, everybody that you see signed had to come from the bottom at some point. And I feel, just me personally, I feel if I didn't catch them at that point, I feel that sometimes it's a little too late because I don't really have that much of an investment in that certain artist. I feel like I have to have an investment in that artist for me to really work with them. I have a lot of inquiries of me sending beats to people, especially artists that are signed and everything, but I really kind of don't really answer back to a lot of those inquiries because I know what the situation is when it comes to that point. Like, you can luck up and actually get on an album or get on a single that way, but it's very, very, very rare to do that because they already have a ton of producers sending them a whole bunch of beats. You have a ton of hands in the project, because you may think, oh, it's just the artist that's doing this, but really you have A&Rs involved, you have managers, you have friends, you have family, you have other producers that have been with them since the beginning, you have engineers, you have a whole bunch of different people in those different situations that have their hand in the pot on how certain beats or certain songs are being made. As much as you think a lot of times that these artists have a lot of control over their situations, they do to an extent, but there's still a lot of moving parts that go on with that. And just to be honest with you, I just don't really like wasting my time. And some people may say, well, you might be losing out a blessing, but sometimes I feel it is a blessing because I just don't want to be stressed out over a situation that, first of all, if you don't have like the lead single or the lead song on the project, you're not going to really get paid like how you used to get paid if you was on the album back in the day. On the album back in the day, once you were on that album, you got a share of that album. now the way streaming and everything works right now, that share is much smaller. Definitely, if you have a song on the album, but like only 3 tracks, like really carry the album, and those 3 tracks really are the revenue of the album like that. So that's why I don't really get into the whole thing of like when people hit me up, they're like, "Yo, send me some beats for such and such. They're working on the album right now." And I know some people would say, "Man, that's a blessing. You should do that." But at the end of the day, I'm the type of person that if I'm invested in an artist, that means that I'm gonna give pretty much my all to that artist, whether they have 10,000 followers or 10 million followers or 10,000 fans or 10 million fans. But I like to actually sit in there with these artists when they're, in that state of coming up, because now you can build with that artist. And in that way, you can become an integral part of what they're doing. And that's the way I like it. And that's the risk I have to take at the same time, because I could be sitting in here running up the light bill, what I'm saying, paying for food, paying for promotions, and doing other things with these artists, and it might not pan out. A lot of times I actually lose money in these situations. But if you look at the overall scheme and the overall way I'm living life right now, I actually won by losing in a lot of situations. But at the same time, I have fun doing it. It's fun not knowing what could really happen with this situation. It's fun trying to figure out certain things, or it's fun beating the system. You know what I'm saying? And that's the way I like to do things. Some people are not like that. There's a ton of producers who are really good at like chasing different artists and different song placements on albums and stuff like that. And to be truthfully honest with you guys, me being at the age that I'm at right now, I just don't have that fire in me to sit here and produce 20 beats for artists that I really don't know, just to be honest with you. And I'm at the point in my career where, financially I'm straight. And if I do the right things, I can pretty much live on what I got right now for the rest of my life. If I just, I can splurge every now and then, but at the end of the day, not just really going overboard, like buying 5 Ferraris or nothing like that. But I'm in pretty good shape where I can kind of like, just kind of coast a little bit and kind of decide on what I want to do. Now, I can see some people not in that situation where they're like, "Hey, we need to get these, placements and stuff like that." But looking at a lot of the song breakdowns and how many producers are on a song and how much they're paying for advancements and stuff like that, just to be, just to be truthfully honest with you guys, I actually make more money doing videos like this and being on YouTube and affiliate marketing and everything like that. And I actually, in a lot of cases, make more of the advancement and more money monthly than actually being on an album. Now, if you can catch a single, that's something totally different. You know what I'm saying? Now, if you can catch a single in these days, you're good. But being on an album or a mixtape or something like that is not financially something that, I'm up for in a sense. Now, if there's a situation where, people do ask me to go on albums, I still send beats now. Don't get it twisted. But, having to deal with you being out of the other 2, 3, or 400 other producers trying to get on that album, it's a stretch a lot of times. And then a lot of times these artists already have certain producers that they work with and everything. And that's just how the game goes right now. So it's the same way with me. If I have certain artists, I want to be that producer for that artist, and I want to have an investment in that artist. And I want to be that go-to person, because at the end of the day, if I'm working with an artist and they do end up getting the deal, then now I'm heavily invested in that artist. And a lot of times I have a piece of that deal with that artist as well. So I'm not just a producer. Either they might be signed to my production company, or I'll have been written into the deal where I get a piece of everything that comes out of that deal, since we built from the ground up. So that's why I'm not really a person that chases like certain song placements and chases certain like big artists right now, because I've been in this game long enough. I've seen the different seasons of this game, and I see what season we're in right now. And the streaming is great. I've made a great living off of streaming. Some people say streaming is not that good, but I've had a lot of singles. So since I've had a lot of singles, it has really, really, really benefited me the way I have been doing it now. And a lot of people that are getting a ton of placements every year, they still have a big respect for me, knowing how I do it. And they know, financially how it could be beneficial if you start with your own artist. And I still have a lot of love from a lot of producers. When they see me, it's all love because they know my journey and I've been doing this for a long time. And I know some people feel like, they're not going to get the fame and, the recognition, but it doesn't matter. If you work with somebody and you sell records, it's the same way of working with any one of these big artists. Streaming is streaming. One is one, two is two, 1,000 is 1,000, a million is a million. That's the good thing about streaming. And if you can control the streaming with the copyrights, control the streaming with the publishing, control the streaming with your, the ownership of your masters, I'm telling you guys right now, this side of where I'm at currently right now is the best side for me. And then plus I get to do things on my own terms. I don't have anybody telling me what I need to do and what I don't need to do. It gets frustrating at times, but I'm happy where I'm at. And this is where I feel where I benefit the most because I'm happy of what I can do, how I can do it. And in a lot of times, and just to be honest, in a lot of situations, I can get an artist. Say, for instance, like a young artist by the name of Tierra Nicole. We had a song that came out, I believe, 2009, 2010. It was called Real Man. Song blew up on the internet really before a lot of people was really on like YouTube like that. We was one of the first songs to really hit 1 million on YouTube as independent producer and artist. And we made a grip off that. We made a grip off of that song. And we actually re-released the song in 2015 and made a grip off that song again. And even though we don't have all of the huge streams that some of these other artists had, since we controlled the master and we controlled the publishing, we actually made more on that song than what a lot of people would have made if they would have had, 40 or 50 million streams on a particular record. So it's actually a cool thing of actually working this independent type of a lifestyle because you actually can do less and make more in a sense. So yeah, that's why I like working with, fairly unknown artists, building them up, getting a catalog with them, making certain sacrifices, investing in them, because that way is more rewarding to me. And that's just how I've always done it. I've never really came into a situation where artists was already signed and I worked with them and, it was like that. I think it was only maybe like 2 times I did that, but pretty much everybody else that I make my money and my streaming, everything has been pretty much been unknown. I get in, I work with them. Sometimes smaller labels may send people to me so I can kind of develop them. And then we kind of work like that. And sometimes it works out, sometimes it fizzles out. But that's just the way my life is. And I'm actually very happy doing it. And it keeps me, it keeps me in a mental state of where I need to be and how my life is going to be. if you kind of understand where I'm going, like my life is going to be that going forward, and I know what it's going to be. And me knowing that and me not having the unknowns around me, like, it's a lot of people that don't know what's going to happen. What's the next move? The thing about with me is since I've been working like this, I know what is going to happen. I know certain trends. I know what I probably have to do in this situation. And me knowing what other people don't know, that's what really helps me out and keeps me in a good mental state at the same time. So yeah, I don't work with a lot of major artists. I work with a lot of people that you probably never heard of. You might not hear from them ever again, but at the end of the day, there's new people that pop every single week in this music game, and they all start from nothing. So to a lot of you guys out there who want to be producers and you want to get your feet wet and you want to, be a part of a situation, find you an artist in your city. Doesn't matter if they have 10 followers, followers, 100 followers, fans, no fans, money, no money. If you have a way to where you can make music, you know, y'all get in, y'all work, and then you try to find a way to get to that point. And I'm telling you, even though 99% of most of the acts might not ever get that big, if you can get that 1%, that 1% of that one big act, I'm telling you, it will be great. I'm telling you, I'm living proof. All right. So I know this video was kind of like a little impromptu. I'm actually shooting this on my iPhone and everything. I just want to just give you guys some words, and I'm actually going to leave it up here instead of doing like a live. I want to just leave it up here. So if you guys want to come back to it, you can always come back to it. And I just hope that this video was informative. I hope it was inspirational to you guys as well. And of course, I wanted to answer the question of why I don't work with a lot of big artists. And yeah, so hope you guys enjoyed the video. Hope you guys learned something from it. And like I always say, peace out.